Okay, happy Wednesday. Today is August 18th. This is the 53rd episode of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. It is a clothing brand that I created during the pandemic. And the idea is to serve the unhoused in two ways: to provide them with brand new clothing and also to provide them with wearable affirmations like the word hero and a crown to bring them some sense of upliftment. So if you're interested in participating, check out the store. The store is just giveherohoodies.com, giveherohoodies.com. All right, so check that out. Also, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me to talk about my journey of becoming a hero and my journey with this hero ministry. All right, so there's the website, ntmedia.org, and you can donate to them. And also check out all the other programming on the New Thought Media Network because there's some interesting things going on here. Okay, so my disclaimer, as usual, I am not a certified personal trainer or a financial advisor. These are just things that have worked for me, or in some cases didn't work for me, and I'm sharing what's working, what's not working, and hopefully you can get something out of that. Okay, I think that's all the introductory stuff. Oh, I'm here live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 8 a.m. Mountain. So check me out Monday through Friday. And if you missed the show live, you can check the replay on YouTube and on Facebook. All right, moving on. Yes, moving on. So today is Wednesday. So in my world, that means Workout Wednesday. So I am going to tell you the question of the day, which is, are you using what you have? Are you using what you have? So here's my story. Last night, I was invited by Nissan to witness the unveiling of the brand new Z. Many of you might be familiar with their Z cars over the years, like the 240Z, 300Z. If you're not familiar, it's a sports car, but an accessible sports car, like not super expensive. Like they have one that is super expensive, like in the Porsche price range, but the Z car has typically been accessible and very popular. So anyway, I went out to Brooklyn to this huge warehouse to check out all the previous iterations of the Z. This is the 7th generation, so they had all the 6 other generations parked in the space. And then they had this big reveal, this big event. There was literally a light show and there was a smoke machine, and it was so fabulous. And then after all that, they drove the 2 vehicles out from the outskirts of the stage into the middle of the space. So in case you're unfamiliar, one of the things that I do is I test drive and write about cars. So this is something that happens fairly often. As a matter of fact, right now it's supposed to be the New York Auto Show, but it got canceled because of the latest strain of the coronavirus. So Nissan decided to have their event anyway, and they had us, come out and participate. All right, so that's the background. That said, again, it's a sports car, and they're doing the spiel about, all the things like the 0 to 60, the horsepower, 400 horsepower for those of you that are into horsepower. It's fast, basically. It's fast. And then the CEO of Nissan mentions that it comes standard with a 6-speed stick shift. Applause. Huge applause from all the journalists that are assembled there. And there were a lot of us. This was a big event. Huge applause. And it's literally the only time there was applause all night. Even right after that, when he said that there was also a 9-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters. Those are those little paddles on right behind the steering wheel, and you can tap them to shift up and shift down. He announced that. Crickets. The only applause all night was for the stick shift. And that got me to thinking about a couple things. I have written about self-driving cars several times over the course of my automotive career. And I've, casually interviewed people about it. And there is this general sense of pushback. The general public, you guys out there in the general public, are not feeling self-driving cars. Okay, so sidebar, you're gonna have to work through that because it's happening. Like it's happening fast. It's not optional anymore. It's happening fast. So you're gonna have to work through that. But here's the point. The idea that I get in terms of why people are resistant to self-driving cars is that they want to be in control. They don't want to lose that sense of control. And I think that's a part of why the people were applauding last night, that a stick shift is as close to control of a vehicle you can get. It's much more controlled than an automatic transmission, for example, and way more controlled than a self-driving car. But this brings us back to the question of the day. Are you using what you have? Are you using what you have? Because right now, you have the equivalent of a stick shift. You have control. You've got 100% control over your body, over your mind, and most of all, over your reactions. Are you using that to your best advantage? That's a little tricky, isn't it? Because people are so resistant to the idea of relinquishing control in terms of a vehicle, but that is a limited amount of control. Your ability to drive the vehicle where it's going and to regulate the speed. That's a pretty limited, narrow definition of control. Meanwhile, you have infinite control over your reactions to the world around you. And are you exercising it? Like, speaking for myself, it took me a long time to begin to start exercising control over my reactions. I'm gonna share a story with you. I picked up a book to help me understand someone else. She often said, I'm an angry person. I'm an angry person. I'm an angry person. I'd ask, why are you upset? And she'd say, I'm an angry person. And I didn't understand that. And so I sought out a book to help me understand what that worldview was like. And the book I found was very on the nose. It is called Angry All the Time. I figured that's got to be the book that will help me understand this mindset, right? So the first 3 chapters, I was like, okay, all right, I see, I understand, I'm getting this. And then I got to chapter 4. And I was like, who are you talking to, book? Who are you talking to like that? I brought you to help me understand someone else. Don't you talk to me like that. I'm not an angry person. I'm not an angry person. And then I had to throw the book down. And then I had to start over. I took a few days off and had to start over and really open myself up to the idea that I might be an angry person, which was groundbreaking for me. If you'd ever told me that I was an angry person in my life, I had blown it off. Matter of fact, there was at least one person, one ex-girlfriend, who tried to tell me that I was an angry person. And I know I blew it off. I blew it off. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I am very calm, cool, and collected. So it was shocking to me to be reading this book. Once again, the title of the book is Angry All the Time. It was shocking to me to understand that I was accepting, in the language of the book, accepting anger invitations. Anger invitations. So let me just read this quote from the book right quick so you understand what I mean. This was pretty groundbreaking for me and probably will be for you too. Okay, can you see that? That's the book cover, Angry All the Time. I read my books on Kindle these days. And I'm going to read this quote. We all get dozens of anger invitations every day. An anger invitation is anything that we could use as an excuse to get mad. Now, how many anger invitations are you accepting every day? Because whatever happens out there in the world, first of all, you can't control it. Second of all, it is a neutral event. It is. It may not seem like it, but whatever happens is a neutral event. It's what you do with it. It's how you respond to it that makes it something other than what it was. So are you choosing to be upset about the person that cut you off in traffic? Are you accepting that invitation to be angry? Are you accepting the invitation to be angry because someone was late? Are you accepting the invitation to be angry because it's taking the clerk too long to get to you? Like, there are invitations all day, every day. And you have to decide how many, if any, of those invitations you're willing to accept. So this brings us full circle. The question of the day is, are you using what you have? Because you have control over your reactions and you can exercise control over your reactions. and you should, as I am endeavoring to do. And it's hard work. Let me tell you, it's hard work because you have developed the habit of responding to certain things in certain ways. And then you even come up with a rationalization about it. You say, well, that's just the way I am. I'm just a fill in the blank. I'm just a so, but I'm working on my patience, for example, right? So you've accepted and habituated that response of impatience. Let that excuse go. Start fighting against that. Like fight against the invitation to be angry in an impatient way. Fight against it. So anyway, all that came up for me from the Nissan drive last night. So that's my thought from everybody applauding about the stick shift last night. That's my thought. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick commercial break, and then I'm gonna come back and do some hero news. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back with you in. Wait a minute, where's my? Oh, there it is. There's my commercial. Okay, I'm in the chat now. Shout out to the folks that are watching with me live. Shout out to Simone. Shout out to Gladys. Shout out to Tim. I appreciate the cup of coffee. I appreciate that, Tim. And shout out to Nan. All right. So in terms of hero news, couple quick things. I have now donated to 4 of the nonprofits that I am donating to through my charity run. So I guess I should start there. The charity run is still going strong. Today was day 79. I have been running every single day since June 1st, at least a mile a day since June 1st, and this was the 79th day. I have racked up more than 167 miles. I have to do the tally, but I've definitely done more than 167 miles thus far. That's further than, for easy reference, Nashville to halfway to Atlanta. That's further than halfway to Atlanta. Okay, so there's that. I've accumulated pledges of over $1,000, and I have donated now $140 each to 4 different nonprofits. So the most recent nonprofit was Hospitality Hub in Memphis. So just a quick story. In March, I drove from Nashville to Memphis in a storm, mind you, to donate hero clothing to 2 different nonprofits in addition to everything else that was in the gift bags. Again, if you watch, when you watch the outro video, look for the polka dot bags. Those are pictures of us in Memphis and Louisville donating bags to these nonprofits. And so Hospitality Hub posted a photo of us, me and Lenora Brown. They posted a photo of us donating to them in March on their social media. So that was really cool because I hadn't seen it until just now when I made a donation to them. And then I went to their Instagram because I was going to tell them about the donation. And I saw me and Lenora. I was like, oh, shoot, that's pretty cool. So I reposted that. So check it out on my Instagram at Sekou Writes. Okay, so all that said, that's 4 nonprofits donated to, 3 nonprofits left, and obviously I'm still running. So there will be another call to action. There will be another goal because if you've been following me, you know this happened spontaneously. There was no real plan to do this charity run. It developed into a charity run because it started off as just a birthday commitment to myself for the month of June. That said, I'm getting focused about what this is going to be, and I'm going to make a formal announcement, and there'll be a new call to action. But in the meantime, I want to get the rest of these nonprofits their money. All right, I think that's it. Oh, shout outs. Shout out to Nissan. Thanks for the invitation to the event last night. It was very sexy, very cool. The new Nissan Z is mean. It's a good looking car. If you want to see photos of it, again, go over to my social media. You can see video and stills at my Instagram, at Sekou Writes, and my Facebook page, again, at Sekou Writes. I am doing a podcast a new episode of the podcast for Saturday about the new Nissan Z and the other experiences I had that night, because all these car events are way sexy. They are not your average event. So I'll be talking about that on my podcast. So check out my podcast on Saturday, the latest episode of the Sekou Writes podcast. As always, check out my other podcast, Get Rich 101, which is all about getting rich, especially those of you that are really interested in my Tip Tuesdays, my tips about making money. So check out Get Rich 101 and the Sekou Writes podcast. Both of those podcasts are available on all the podcasting platforms. All right. So I think that's it. I'm going to close out, and then I will be back here at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, producing Sit with Rev Melissa, and I might be popping on towards the end of the show to say a couple words. So keep checking me out Monday through Friday right here on the New Thought Media Network, and then on YouTube and Facebook if you missed the live event. And until I see you again tomorrow morning, keep doing, be a hero, be your own hero, and remember that now is better than perfect. Now I'm going to play the outro video. Now watch close for all the places where we have donated Hero Hoodie products in all the different cities. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Later.